This is my 2019 bike check. This is a 2013 St. Martin 10. It's a 17.9-inch top tube, which is really, if you measure from the gyro holes to the center of the seat tube, it's actually only 17 and 5/8 inches. So it's just over 17 and a half inches. It's very short. This is an Odyssey flatware fork, 0 offset. These brakes are awesome. These old Vulcan 2 brakes, but they're actually too good. And this is like, a $62 and $80 brake. It's actually too good for feathering. So I started using Odyssey Springfields in the rear to test it out, and a $17 brake works way better for feathering. So I'm going to be switching this out to a Springfield. But I love these brakes, but they'd be better suited for like a street bike. So when you like clamp on, it fucking locks. They're like vices. Anyway, here's a impurity gyro, which I bought because of the recommendation from a Global Flat member. They're very, very similar to the Odyssey gtx-r gyro. I don't know the gyro plate. It's an Odyssey headset. This is an Odyssey 45mm stem because I needed some room on this frame because it's so damn short. It's our Odyssey chase bars with Odyssey M2 rear lever and Odyssey mono lever on the left for the front brake. These are BSD dunk grips. Love these with the BSD bar ends. M2 cable that I cut down majorly so there was no slack, and then I solder the ends of the cable so that it cannot fray. We'll go down to the rim. It's Odyssey Hazard rims with Odyssey Anti-Gram hub and Odyssey spokes. Now if you look here on the rim, see how the chrome's peeling all the way around the rim. It's not flaking off, it's just peeling on half the wheel, which is crazy. But the cool thing is I've got Odyssey sending me a set of quadrant rims that I'm going to try out and see how those work. They're not welded, I know, but it's a Flatland bike, and I don't foresee me having the weld or the come unpinned while I'm doing a hang 5 and kill me. It's not going to happen. So these are KHE Alchemy pegs, full-on plastic, and KHE Mach 1 tires. 1.75 inches. We'll go down to the middle of the bike. We got profile mini magnetanium 125mm cranks with a St. Martin Evo 22 sprocket and Odyssey twisted PC pedals with a KMC chain. Going up to the Odyssey Mr. Clampy 2 and Odyssey intact seat post. And the reason why I'm using this is because the top tube is very short, and this offset puts the seat back a little bit and then brings this nose back so it's not hanging over the top tube. I hate that. So it brings it far enough back so that it's not completely in my way. Like I said earlier, the Odyssey Springfield brake in the rear. And then for the rear wheel, oh wait, we got a Primo bloop. There's a Primo bottom bracket. Then we've got Odyssey Hazard in the rear, which is holding up just fine. But like I said, I'm going to try the quadrant rims with a Odyssey clutch free coaster. And on this one, I opened up the rear dropouts to 14mm. So it would accommodate it. I didn't do anything to the axle on this. KHE Alchemy pegs in the rear and the KHE Mach 1 tires in the rear as well. So that pretty much does it. Oh, and this is a Velo, like hemorrhoid type seat. I like the Mankind, the mid-school Mankind Globe / Odyssey veteran type seats better, but for right now, this wasn't $100 and it works perfect for this build. So I think that covers everything. The cables are a mix of M2 slick cables, linear slick cables, and gyro cables. And an Odyssey cable hanger down there. I think that's pretty much everything. So now we're going to go to bike check number 2. This is my 2013 St. Martin 10 18.8. But the thing about the 18.8 is if you measure from the gyro hole to the middle of the seat tube, it's actually 18 5/8. So it doesn't matter what, like if it's a St. Martin and it says 18.8, 18.9, 18.7, whatever. It's always the number, let's say 17 or 18, 19, whatever. It's always 5/8. I don't know why, but that's the way it is. I've had my friends measure them. My friend Wes has measured his bikes. So anyway, that's the ride. What this is this bike is supposed to be identical to that bike over there, pretty much, but it's 1 inch longer. What we've got is a Fishbone Rebel fork, dual offset. You can only have a female axle with this type of setup. I usually have it on 0 with a Odyssey Evo 2 brake in the front, which they're almost as good as the Springfields for feathering, but not as good. It's a gtx-r gyro that I deanodized and polished. Odyssey gyro plate, that's an Odyssey headset in there. This is a Colony 35mm stem that I took and I deanodized myself and polished it up because I didn't want it black. These are Chase bars just like the other bike, M2 lever and mono lever just like the other bike, BSD dunk grips just like the other bike, except I'm using power ends on this one. Odyssey preload bolt that I got from my friend Wes. There's a lot of fork there, but it's just something that I'm dealing with now until I can get a big ass steel M25 bolt to go in there so I can cut it and then clean up the threads, because it goes down into the threads having my bars this low. I want to get my bars as low as possible. Alright, where are we? This is a GSPORT marmoset hub with GSPORT roll cage rims. And on this front, these are DT Swiss spokes. And plastic pegs again, just like the other bike. Let's see, let's move over here. Instead of 125mm cranks, I'm running profile 145s. Twisted PCs, Odyssey's just like the other bike. This is a profile 22 sprocket. Oh, that's a profile bottom bracket on this. This is a Haro seat clamp because I thought it would be funny to have a really old part on this bike. This is a Colony seat post with an Odyssey convertible guts kit for my Mankind Globe seat that I love. Love these seats from this era. And then I slid it back as far as possible to get the nose out of the way. I hate when the nose hangs way over. And on most pivotal seats now, you can't deal with it, and the nose is so long. It's crazy on most seats, and for me, it's just in my way. Springfield rear, just like the other rides. This is a YBN chain, I think. And if you put these side by side with KMC and KMC clones, they are a little bit longer. So if your setup, if the chain is really tight, try one of these chains and it'll give you like another like 1/8 of an inch or a 1/16 of an inch to play with. So that's a good tip to remember. I'm running Odyssey ghost pads on the rear, the front, and on the other bike. I forgot to mention that. So I'm running ghost pads all the way around. These are S&M track mark tires that I actually won in Flatland Fuel's holiday giveaway. I was pretty stoked about that because I needed tires. They're the 1.75 inches and they're really good. The compound's really soft. Your foot really grips to them. They're sweet. Plastic pegs in the rear, same. This is an Odyssey clutch. And what I did was, Odyssey clutch free coaster, what I did was, I bought the 3/8 kit for it, and then I ground down the shoulders so that it was a real 3/8 kit. So it fit a 3/8. So I did not open up this back dropout. I just changed the axle on this one. The GSPORT roll cage in the rear. And I think that's it. Did I get everything? The spokes are Odyssey in the rear on this one. And I think that's all of it. See that, shoes? And you know what? Here's something else. It's, you know, this is like half positive, half bitch fest, but whatever. So I heard all this stuff about the Odyssey clutch hubs, all this stuff, to the point where I was like worried to buy one, that they clicked and they popped and they did all this weird shit. And I bought this one new. No, I bought this one new, and I bought this one from a dude who had just bought his and didn't want it. And he said that it clicked and it popped and it did some grind just like his friends did, and he did not want it. So I bought the free coaster off him. When I got it, I cracked it halfway opened. I make my own grease with a combination of different greases. I greased it up, hooked it all up, replaced a couple things on it, and just the bolts. The bolts looked like he used like the wrong size wrench on them and like really tore them up. Anyway, put it together, nothing. Smooth as silk. So I'm telling you that 99.9% of issues with clutches are user motherfucking error. Seriously. I bought this as a defective part to work on, and I popped it open and greased it up properly everywhere. And it runs totally smooth. Zero issues. So it's total bullshit about the clutch having issues. I've heard so much crap. Anyway, these are my two bikes. St. Martin 10. St. Martin 10. 18.8, which is really 18 and 5/8. And 17.9, which is really 17 and 5/8. Right on. Ride what you want. 2019.